Trying to figure out where I'm gonna fuck. Trying to figure out where the fuck I'm gonna put this mic at. Move it. All right. Hello, welcome. Now, this is going to be a very special stream compared to, especially the last one. This is my comic. This is something I don't know if I've talked much about in my streams, but I've always wanted to make a comic, but never really have had the time, budget, or things to do so until more recently. So we have our Clip Studio subscription. Um, and this is my tablet. I have both. I have it connected to my PC, so that's why I'm actually fucking with it with my mouse. Uh, but I feel like my brain's all over the place. I need to think more. Really, some cool shit I was wrong. This is actually no funny enough. This is one of the characters of the comic that we're going to make today. Oops, trying to figure out how the controls work. And now I have a proper Control Z on my keyboard. Ooh. But before we get into this, I'm actually gonna find some music to listen to. Let's just look up copyright fucking free. Um, just look up Lil Darky Beats. So I need to be in the mood. I need to be in the mood. So I'll play this. I want albums. I'm going back to songs. Turkey type beat. I can never make it to one. I forgot to move the audio to my headphones. I need a playlist. I was trying to get some other things done, but I honestly stayed up super late, getting ready for the first stream. That I ended up sleeping really late, and that's why I'm streaming like 30 minutes later than I wanted to. But it is what it is. Copyright free. If I do copyright free type beats, I don't know why. I feel like that'd work. Other issues nowadays, everything has so much AI. I don't want to fucking get trapped into AI bullshit ass thing. What is this? How long is this? It's only 2 minutes. I need something longer than that. I kind of play for like a sec. That sounds nice. I'm trying to use YouTube fucking music, but I'm trying to use certain functions that are only in normal YouTube and cannot seem to find it. So we're gonna be using normal YouTube to play music. Alright. We're gonna look up copyright free later. But this time we can actually. Never mind, there's one right here. How is this gonna go? I'm gonna go with never mind. Oh wait a minute. I know what that is. I knew I should have tried to fucking find what's it called? Songs first before getting in here. But these what it is. Could just play a little darky. I just would rather because I use stream for what's it called? Footage as well. But I can't separate the voice audio from the background audio, so whatever I have, it needs to sound good without fucking with the audio. I think I'm just kind of have to bite the pill and just try to overlook that the whole image that's in this background is gonna be AI. Which is sad because I'm making art, but I still have to stare at it. I just minimize it, but. Let's see how loud the music is compared to stream, because I look back at the louder one and I probably should have turned up the game music more on Subnautica 2. So I'm gonna fuck with the audio a little bit so I think it sounds right. Luckily, these are the early streams where no one's even gonna watch the fucking damn thing, and if you are, just skip to like. I'll try to make sure things about ready by the 10-minute mark. Really, I'm almost ready. So far, it's not that bad for the music. Now, one of the first videos I've ever really made, and first comments I've ever got, was complaining about the background music. So I'm oddly focused on what background music I put in. Okay, take off my headphones for 1 sec. Well, one of the first videos I've ever really made, and first comments I've ever got, was complaining about the background music. So I'm oddly focused on what background music I put in. Take off my headphones for 1 sec. I'm gonna turn it all the way up. Well, one of the first videos I've ever really made, and first comments I've ever got, was complaining about the background. I need to wait a second to let the fucking audio unfuck itself real quick. One of the first videos I've ever really made, and first comments I've ever got, was complaining about the background. I need to wait a second to let the fucking audio unfuck itself real quick. I think it's good now. I don't know. I think we're average. Okay, I need to wait again. Let it cool down. Alright. Audio should be about ready now. Okay. And well, while I wait, I'm gonna quickly post this somewhere I needed to post it at, and I kind of forgot to do so. I need to wait again. Let it cool down. Alright. Audio should be about ready now. Okay. And I think the music stopped. I didn't move. It's hard to fucking check audio. Sure. I think the issue is getting a little too far. Sure. Also, the little fucking face things out of the right, so, do. Turn it off. Wait, I got seconds. Turn it back on. Whatever. Okay. Whatever. Okay. Sure, fuck it. Alright, I'm done doing this. See, like I said, wait, check out 10, and I am like in there. Anyways, no more doing random stupid shit. Time to actually fucking do what I was fucking supposed to do. And my fucking mouth. I'm gonna shit myself. Turn off. Turn back on. This music got weird. What the fuck? Dark hip hop. No, fuck it. Actually, don't sound too bad. Anyways, no more. Once again, no more distractions. Let's actually do what I'm supposed to do. Anyways, we's gonna do is we're gonna make a new image. We're just gonna get a square. Get a iron. These aren't squares. Fuck it. Anyways, sure. Go. Alright, so what's actually going to be more important is less so the actual, drawing and more so the, what's it called? Also, I'm going to put my mouse off the screen, so you don't have to stare at the mouse while I'm fucking drawing. Because no more mouse. Now we have tablet, where you're not going to see the display. Like, you might be able to see the... I zoom in, we'll show you that. Or is it because I'm doing multi-monitors that now it's... not show. Oh. Anyways. So, as I was trying to say, what's going to be more important here isn't necessarily the drawing and going to be more important for the planning than anything. What is that anti-aliasing? Super weird. I use this pen all the time. Maybe it's because it's not connected. Does that have like a weird edge to it? Is it that's not noticeable. Anyway, gotta collect my thoughts. Alright. So, today's mission is going to be make the fucking power system. I want to figure out, maybe not every single facet of it, but just the really big parts of the system that's really important to get down characters. Because you can't make a world, you can't make these characters, you can't figure out what the fuck's actually going to go on until you know what the fuck they're working with. The power system is very important for a comic that's mainly action focused. Though the action in the comic is going to be a lot more brutal than necessarily what you would think your average shonen fast-paced shit. A lot more weight. That's the best one I can describe it. So what we're going to do, let's see, we got to split this into 3 parts. We can either do that this way, we could do it fucking that way, or I was thinking something kind of like this. Actually, no. We'll count them. Thinking more something kind of like this because there's more 4 sides. Like, there's the 3 central powers, but the 4th one's important on how it would work. So, let's just make this. Doesn't need to be fucking perfect. It just needs to fucking work. Because all we're really doing is making a fucking graphic organizer. Not the biggest fan of those different thicknesses, but whatever. So, let's sit more so I can see what the fuck I'm actually doing. Not hard to say, but my mom's gonna be done here for most of the time because I'm looking pretty much done because how my shit's set up. Also, apologize in advance if I miss anyone on a stream. So last time I did a drawing stream, I missed any person who fucking popped in. Because I am looking all the way down here. Let's so, make a new layer. We are going to label these sides. Because the top side, we're just going to make the H for the hue. The pen side not to work. There we are. The humans. And don't mind my horrendous handwriting. We have the humans and the crows. See. Actually, we're gonna do 2 letters because you're about to see humans and then the crows. Now, the humans are the biological life that live on Earth. The crows are the scary Cthulhu Lovecraftian demon things that came from a fucking meteor that landed on Earth. And they are the things corrupting these humans and turning them into these 2 sides, which are the corpses. That's why I had to have the 2 different letters so I could differentiate. And the scarecrows. These are the interesting ones. Well, in my opinion, the most interesting ones. For the most part, a lot of the fucked upness in the story, in terms of the really OP characters, are on this side of the spectrum. The crows and the scarecrows are generally the strongest, while the humans and the corpses are not as much. Though that's why humans are on top, though, is because they can utilize all the different facets of these things. while these are more boxed into their own shit, and corpses are mindless because they're basically zombies and they're not going to do anything. They have a lot of intelligence, but they really don't have a mix. And actually, what I'm saying makes no sense because you don't know a lot of what I'm about to say. So, I guess before we can really make the list, I need to explain what the fuck these actually are and a little bit of the story. Alright, so I'm gonna put my pen down because we're gonna be a little bit of a little talking session. So, essentially speaking, let's see how we start the synopsis of the story. The world is about 100 years or so from now. Let's say it's about the year 125 or 2125. There you go. And by then, technology has kind of stagnated over the next couple of almost 100 years. Yeah, again, 100 years. Technology started to stagnate. Really, I can kind of even visualize it. Instead of technology, which everyone kind of has the mindset of, it kind of goes like, oh, I thought I made a new layer. Instead of technology going like this, over time, and let's just okay, there's two tech and time. Everyone expects it to go like these, but the reality, in my opinion, I think just generally how technology is going to work, because the way that it really is kind of like this. What's the proper quadratic name that this is supposed to be? My pen decided to not work because it hates me. There we go. That's gonna be a running thing, by the way. My pen likes to just not work sometimes. So this is how technology is. Now, for us, we're about, in our real life, I do think we're about here. For a long time, we thought technology is going to be very exponential because we are kind of limited to this little view. Technology was taking a very long time to get it started up, but as it starts to get better, it really started to get better. But now we're in our 2020s, and I'm honestly thinking we've already started seeing signs of technology progressing more slowly. And over time, it's only going to be harder and harder to reach new and newer advancements. We're all humans and we're all very full of ourselves, but eventually we're going to get here. And we're basically going to re-enter to where technology is just not going to improve because we've reached quintessential design, signs that you cannot improve on. The fucking paperclip. You cannot really make a better paperclip, not just because of making a better design, but how easy it is to mass produce. Generally, we as humans have certain conveniences that can be met, and when are met, we don't really need anything more. And even if we want more, we can only get so much out of our planet, especially as we're trying to get better, we're also killing it at the same time. So overall, technology stagnates over time. That's kind of the big point of the big incident. Because there's this scientist dude that give him spiky anime hair and what's it called? Secretive eyes. Let's give him a little evil face. This science dude would give him big trench coat. Big trench coats. This dude, Sir Fucks his face, is super cool scientist dude, and what's it called? I can't draw and speak at the same time a whole lot of the time. Well, sometimes I can. I have to be rambling more than actually have to critically think. I just want to give him a little bit more design because I feel like it's kind of hard to tell what the fuck he actually is supposed to look like. Oh, there we go. He still looks stupid as fuck. But anyways, the dude, he was trying to save the world, and make better technology that can go past this little slope. He wanted to start rising again. And he, even though he's super smart, he was able to figure out technology. He actually started to see a bit of that rise in this curve. but he's realizing it was starting to stagnate again. In reality, if he was the ruler of the world for all of time, he could have only made it go higher than what it was. He just was managed to get it on his track of time. So overall, still stagnates. And he starts getting very frustrated that this is happening to him. And that he's being limited by his own humanity, because he could make another go up and eventually maybe keep going. Come on, pin. Thank you. He wants to reach another. He realizes that this idea of exponential technology is dumb and stupid. We're not going to get that. That's not how technology works. It's more like a ladder. It's steps. It's a process that you build up over time. But humanity needs to fight itself to get past these points. There's always one big technological breakthrough that reaches these next points, but we're never going to get there as long as we're holding ourselves back. The criminals, the fucking rapists, which is still criminals. All the evil people in the world is stopping this progression. But he's also, because this is humans. Humans are very fucked, and I want this comic to really go into some very taboo shits. Like, I'm still considering the use of NSFW stuff in this comic. Thing is, I'm probably going to make a sincere or uncensored version of my comic. But that's something I'm still actively debating myself on how far I'm going to go. But in terms of topics, it's very taboo subjects. So, not only that, but people are also pieces of shit. So, this guy, he's very classist. He hates poor people. He gets very angry when he sees someone, what's it called? Like a homeless man. He hates the homeless. You'll see what I mean in a minute. But the guy hates the homeless to an extent because he thinks these are people who have given up on their own lives and are just living to suck away the lives from other people. Makes him very angry about poor homeless dude. He didn't do nothing wrong besides be homeless. Poor homeless dude. But he sees them as people holding him back from society. So he devises a plan. But only after discovering the fucking crows. These scary bird things. Burb. That's that thing. I'm about to learn how to draw birds, because this comic has a lot of burbs. But yeah, the crow thingies. They're initially the only big difference in this comic in the real world is that crows are white. They are not black in any way, shape, or form. They are white. They are pale crows. That, or that we already had crows, and there was a pale crow that stood out because it was pale, or aka white. And it was white because now we're gonna go back in time even further, where we had fucking, what's it called? We had dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. Now, when we had dinosaurs in our planet Earth, one, also we had mega continent and like all that shit, so yeah. But yeah, we had dinosaurs, the original life of Earth, because all biological life, there's life everywhere in the universe. Statistically, it is impossible for life to only live here. Now, life making it to other planets and being, spacefaring civilizations has always been an active, real question of, are aliens real? No, because we know there's other life in other planets. We've seen it in Mars. Boom, life in other planets. But there's not smart life, because the life that we had They're very dumb. It had peanut brain. Peanut brain. And we're gonna make peanut brain. So ultimately, most species get missed by this scary giant flaming rock thing, and we're gonna make it on fire, and then right, fucking giant comet, and it usually misses. But something goofy was starting to happen. At the same time, we get to see. I'm probably going to look and see how accurate this is, find the right historical time point, see how more I can make this fucking work, you piece of shit ass fucking tablet. God damn. Down here, we have it, monkeys. Banana. Monkeys. God damn it, what the fuck? Sorry, got distracted for a second there. Monkeys have big brain. It is size of actually I'm not sure how to draw a watermelon. Size of watermelon. Big brain. Really? Fuck it. Let's do that looks like I'm about to draw a baseball. There we go. Basketball brain. Big brain. Alright, do they have ears? No, that's a different monkey. I'm trying to draw like a fuck it. Give it big monkey ear. Yeah, anyways. We are also at the same time having dumb life, where most plants usually have, to getting more smart life. And that, instead of pushing it away, which it usually would happen for this asteroid, because it dodges, or not necessarily dodges, because it does occasionally collide into brainless plants, which I could also probably just generally do as the excuse, but it is generally attracted towards life with smarter stuff, because it's attracted towards consciousness. Less intelligent life naturally has less intelligence. Now, what's in this asteroid, or more specifically what's steering this asteroid, is the fucking crow thing. Crow. Okay, I like these eyes. It makes them look mischievous. The pale crow. So usually these crows don't come pale. They are black. It's probably why they are all going to be pale crows. That's just going to be the main difference. Is that the world was the same, but the crows are white because they initially were big scary things that come on thing. And when it showed up, it killed the shit out of everything. Everything just died. Why we have so many fossils, because they died so quickly. Also because giant explosion happened. So yeah, they all murdered them when these things came up. But all of that death made this reach a different state called purity. Purity is when they are no longer fucking. And please, why must you forsaken me like this every 2 fucking seconds? Turns them into pale birds after all the death happens. Like that, right? Like that. Yes. After death, it reaches purity. Yeah, so that's the deep lore. Because death has an intrinsic positive and negative energy. These things, they have, and then, because that's, the power system is based off of that natural negative and positive energy, because there's negative and there's positive. They have all of this. They have an insane amount of negative energy, and negative energy distorts reality because it's not supposed to exist in this comp. Like, it's fictional bullshit. Positive is like super reality, so you can change reality itself, or add to it or take it away, while negative is ultimately what's it called? Distorts it. Actually, no, yeah. Positive you could add to it, but you can't take it away because you're still working with what's already there. Negative you can't take it away, but you can't add to it. You can only distort it. They have an insane amount of negative energy, which is allowed them to murder the shit out of these things because they all intrinsically have negative and positive. They have both. So when they show up, they suck out all the negative, killing the shit out of them, and absorb all of the positive. Because that's what it wants. After all the death, which separates the negative from positive, it absorbs all of the positive, taking out the negative inside of it, turning it into purity. Or, in short, okay, I think I might have rambled well. I'm not sure if I explained it quite right. Everything is positive and negative. Negative is... See, like, second I try explaining it really simply, I have to get more complicated. Everything has negative and positive naturally within life. But these things, or these supernatural Cthulhu things, probably came from the spawn of the universe, or whatever the fuck I'm going to make an excuse of. And they are basically the backlog of the universe. Basically, the universe is this, like, the same way the corpses are going to be made, which I'm going to explain in a second. The universe kind of works, where they separated the positive from the negative, and this is where it got separated. With all that separated, went towards this scary ass thing, which acts as like a filter cleaner for the universe, and it is supposed to be the explanation of why we don't have aliens. So yeah, this thing, or actually it's probably going to be many of these things, this is only one of them, lands on the earth, killing the shit out the dinosaurs, and a lot of them, really all of the animals. Naturally, dinosaurs died out for the other reasons as well, but generally the thing that caused the extinction event wasn't necessarily the impact, it was this scary thing killing everything. So the world had a bit of a genetic reset to an extent. But after the rumble of all that shit happens is when we get back to humanity. But with humanity, we still have the crow. It's still chilling around. Or more specifically, we discovered it. And he realized that, again, just how it went from death to positive. He realized that when... Oh, I didn't even mean to go back to you. He realized that he can reverse that and generate energy. That's what gets pointed out to himself, is that these things can generate energy. So if he goes through the process of reverse purification, he can turn it into scary bird monster. Scary bird monster. Reverse purification. But, and the way he did that is through analyzing a single feather. Realizing that after you put in dead shit, or dead energy shit, choo. I like he has like 2 teeth. Put in that shit, you can slowly turn it into darkness. But he realizes how much death needs to be put into this for this to work. Now, you remember when I said he hates the homeless? Yeah, he uses his wide influence and range and starts a charity project. And this is actually based off of something that, at least according to Mom, I actually have yet to fact check it to see if it's actually happening for myself. But according to my mom, regardless if this is true or not, I'm still using the idea. There is in Houston going to be a giant homeless dome that we're gonna put all of our poor and homeless inside of to create, I don't know, some shit. We hate the homeless here in Houston. This guy is gonna do that, but at a continent, or like at a size of a state. He is basically creating a new state. Currently, I might change the name, but currently I'm calling it Wasted. Because it's obvious why it's got waste. And he puts all of the poor people, let's do this, and then go ba, and then do people. They go into between, I think it's, because again, this is based off of Texas' new thing that looks nothing like Texas. What have I done? I can't believe I don't know what the fuck Texas even looks like. I think it's kind of like this, and then you do this, and then no fucking piece of shit, and then like, doesn't it kind of like that a little? I can really cut that out. I just take like another bite out of there as well. Sure, Texas, and then like Oklahoma, which is not that big, and then whatever shit. But between there is Wasted, and all, whatever other states are between here, because I suck at geography. But in here is Wasted, where they're gonna put all of the super poor to homeless class people. It's gonna be basically. But first, it's almost like a charitable option. Like, hey, because we know that the way things are going, because that's all. Yeah, I didn't even mention one of the biggest reasons he's super concerned about this is that we have a overpopulation issue of the world at this point of the story has over 100 billion people inside of it, which. I've done the math at some point, but I'm not exactly sure how to do the best way to compare it. But ultimately, 100 billion is a fuck ton, especially compared to even 10 billion, because we're already nearing that. 8 billion, we already hit that last couple of years ago. So in 100 years, the population control got bad, and we've reached bad. Sorry, I need to drink real quick. Oh. Sorry about that. But yeah, our overpopulation issues got bad. Like globally. And America specifically, especially with our immigrations issues, started to get uber bad. I think the U.S. in the story has over 10 billion people, or around that number, in there alone. Imagine our country, which is very massive. I don't think enough people give credit to how big just the U.S. is. Because like a state is bigger than a lot of countries. Like the U.S. is, I think, comparable, if not bigger than the fucking Europe. And Europe has a lot of countries, but we also have 50 fucking states, and 50's a lot of number. I bet most people can't think of, or if they try to list all of the states, they'd probably at least miss more than 10. I know I would. I'd probably miss more than 20. 5. I'd probably only know a handful of states, honestly. Or no, I probably know more than that, but generally speaking, the U.S. is massive. But even us could not contain 10 billion people. You'd have to realize that every state would now have to house more than 100 million people. Just if you're trying to get it flat across the board, I think. I'm trying to do the math real quick so I don't have to think about the exact numbers, because they're not that important. But And that's not even realizing the fact that, you know, we have places like Wyoming where people don't even fucking live there. So, like, places like Texas, I bet Texas is going to have a population nearing more than 100, nearing more than like a billion. And just like at Texas alone. Like, like, New York is going to look fucked in the story because we're basically going to I'm basically going to turn it into a giant mega cube of just fucking apartment complexes and buildings. Like, oxygen's had to start being produced because our world isn't making enough for the amount of things living in it, and we started making a lot of things extinct, forcing us to eat a fuck ton of artificial food. Future ain't gonna look very well in this comic, but this guy, he wanted to try to solve some of this shit. And to do this reverse purification problem, you can make energy start finally becoming maybe like a spacefaring civilization or something. He just wanted something to grasp onto. He creates Project Wasted. A little in, come back to me. A little in there. Wasted. Where, yeah, you put all of the really poor people, advertising it as, since we're having all these overpopulation issues, we are going to offer to all of these super, super poor people a place to put free. So you can live here, basically, for free. And build, and within a certain amount of time, turn into, or have a better life. Opportunity for the poor. Reality, not only was this not really an opportunity as much as it is being forcibly put in there, because a lot of laws makes being homeless illegal, even right now, let alone in the fucking future. So they were able to forcefully put an insane amount of people in here. I think just a single state is gonna have a population of a billion, and just a city, which I think is going to be between the sizes of probably Texas and New York. It's going to be a pretty big state. It's probably not going to be this big. Probably more like this big. Sure. Also, my headset's trying to tell me it's going to die. I have. My Oh, I broke the fucking thing again. Even that don't fucking reach, goddamn. Well, I'm just gonna hope my headphones don't die. My headphones are trying to die right now. But anyways, it's totally good. Okay, well, it's a good thing. Try to remember to charge it for next time. Also, my thing's had to break, so. Switch calibrate. Camera off. A2. Hate fucking with this thing. I wish it worked better. Okay. Anyways, back to the actual fucking thing. Ugh. Sorry, I haven't ate anything yet today, so my stomach's being a little annoying. So yeah. So what the fuck was that? No, I was trying to think of the population. But yeah. Yeah, he waits until this city, or the city-state, reaches the population of about 1 billion people, because he figured that should be enough to do the reverse purification process. Also, I don't really like how you have like a little square looking head. Sure. Anyways. Yeah. So he put the billion people to do and fucking 1 billion people. And then he burns it down. Not necessarily burn it down. I don't know exactly what process he's going to go about it, but he's going to then kill each of these people. On pin, please. Alright. Done fighting this fucking thing. Hold up. Apparently I need to charge my battery. Oh, look. It's out of work. Right. 1 billion people in a... Why does this thing, like, break? Like, there's no way that you can, like, unfuck yourself. Like... It's gotta be some fucking setting to fix that. I'll figure something out at some point, hopefully. But for whatever reason, second you get out of frame, it don't wanna unfuck itself. It's just gonna stay fucked forever. Okay. I still got my pin so I start fucking up again, and I'm just gonna hope not to fuck. Anyways, yeah, he kills these billion people. Beep beep boo. Beep beep boo. Brain. He killed them all. Probably something fire. There's probably gonna be a fire. Because when me and my mom heard about this our first joke is, and then mysteriously there's gonna be a fire at this homeless dome. What an accident. Yeah, he kills 1 billion people to do the reverse purification thing, and it worked a little too well. Now, there's 2 ways I'm gonna go about it. Either he naturally is just, no matter what, he was gonna be turned into a monster. The bird will be turned into scary ass thing. But I think, generally speaking, it's a lot more natural when it goes to more conventional life when it does this. That's why I went from bird thing to other bird thing. It's just that first bird thing, actually, I think, really, it never did anything deadly, more or less. Like that, it probably just hit on the like when he landed with the asteroid, it just killed everything because it big asteroid and murdered, and it was able to absorb that life, turning into pure. No scary monster needed. But humanity is fucked up and is being fed dark consciousness. And instead of turning into bird to bird thing, it really instead got turned into scary fucking, what's it, like scary, I didn't do the shaping right on that at all. Scary humanoid bird thing. Uh, sure, fuck it, I don't even care. Doo doo. Really? Because it turns into Scarecrow. Or a Scarecrow. Turns into the Crow of Death. Horseman. Sure. I'm gonna give it little scary claws. Right. And that's because humanity is fucked up. Because when this happened, instead of just having normal stuff, it sprouted out in giant, scary, horrific, teethy mouth eye thing that comes out the ground at like 1,000 miles per hour. Right now, I'm trying to just make it like super quick and sketchy because now this art actually fucking matters. So I'm not too worried about how the fuck it looks. Yeah. Comes out the ground, big scary ass eyeball thing. And he looks at that shit and realizes that he was right for the most part, but there's one thing he didn't account for. People suck. And yeah, all the energy he got was mainly evil shit. So it mutated it, the thing that was supposed to be just a bird to scary demonic bird Cthulhu thing. It starts the apocalypse. Because now, this is when we actually, finally, get to this shit again. Kinda. We're making another layer. Because after that, it made a change in our world and our laws of our nature. There was so much negative energy that got separated from positive energy and it was able to concentrate. It created its own force. Usually, that unity between the two keeps the balance of our laws of nature, making everything, you pick up something and it's normal. The way you interact with life, something dies, it dies. There's no, like, it's the facts of our world. But now, the facts of our world has been distorted and is no longer obeying what it's supposed to be because it's now separated, being condensified in different areas that originally was evenly dispersed. So, scary shit everywhere. Everything's scary shit. This whole comic is now fucked to beyond an insane extent. Beforehand, it was already pretty messed up, but now we're in fucked territory. And this is why I'm calling this the most grotesque comic in Webtoon. I have never seen a Webtoon, and honestly, not many stories in general go as fucked as the story is going towards. Because this story is technically a zombie apocalypse story. Yeah, zombies. You see zombies 1,000 times, not zombies like this. Because when a person dies, we need a graphic. Come on, pin, please. Okay, I'm done with this. I'm fucking done. I got more batteries. I think it's charging. I don't know. We're gonna put in different battery. That's bullshit. Why ain't working? See, shit like this is why it took me so long to get the fuck back. Because everything I did has these stupid problems that shouldn't exist. Like, why is my battery not working? Why does this pin decide not to work? Because that battery looks like it's already pretty charged. It's just because these quadruple A batteries actually last for a good amount of time. That's the battery it usually comes with. I'm trying to use these rechargeables because I don't have a bunch of money to keep spending buying fucking tiny BBS batteries that you can't fucking find anymore. Okay, I think one of these rechargeable batteries just don't work. And that one does. I just need to remember to charge it more, I guess. I don't know. Well, anyway, I think I'm just gonna have to. I'm just gonna fucking. I'm gonna try this other battery again. I don't know. Anyways, back to this. Now, when people now die, I kind of got this idea from Surprisingly Delicious in Dungeon. When people die, their body no longer works like how it used to. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure I got this idea before Delicious in Dungeon. Or watching that properly. They get split into scarecrows. Scarecrows. And the corpses. Now, I generally refer to the power system in this comic called. I either refer it to the part system is actually something else, but generally I use the corpse system because they all work somewhat similarly to one another, just with certain key differences. But what's important right now is to understand what the fuck is actually going on with these fucking things. So eventually we're gonna draw a little body in the middle. We don't need a body. Yeah, when a person dies, they go between these two things. They split between their positive and their negative sides of the body. So, because when you die to these crow things, they do that separation. But it happened to such an extent that the entire world's natural way of working does this form of separation. So now whenever you die, doesn't matter what you are, who you are, how you died, what the fuck happened. If you die, this will always happen. Your body will be left there to turn into scary corpse things, which we're going to show as, again, this little skull thing I keep drawing. We're going to give it normal eyes. You turn to either a corpse or a scarecrow. You'll see why I'm drawing these like this right now. A scarecrow. Sure, that works. Either a scarecrow or a corpse. The corpse is your actual body. Real body is what's left over. And it's the positive that gets pushed out of your body, creating its own form, which are known as the scarecrows. These are like little avatars. This is why I'm going to stop drawing for a sec, because I think at this point I just need to explain it more. The scarecrows, they get pushed out. They have their own avatar. They're almost like a ghost. They have the desires of that body. Well, that body's desires go this way. Everything they wanted, everything they hated, whatever was most important and constantly prevalently thinking in your brain is what that power will be based off of. And doing so morphs reality into, or allows them to project reality more to show this desire. I think one of the easiest ways, actually, let me open up a different file, is just go back into here. Actually, I think I can leave this one open because genuinely this actually is a big part of the story as well. This guy actually has pretty complicated sound. But this is a scarecrow. He is called the Tungsten Man or the Tungsten Scarecrow. His whole thing is he's heavy as fuck and he will crush the shit out of you. His desire was to crush things, specifically people who were, what's it called, above him. He hates anyone that believes it's they're better than him, and he has an innate need to prove that he's better than anyone around him. But also in the same vein, he starts developing his own specific personality of he also wants to find someone better than him, and he actually finds joy in meeting that. Also, kind of does. He's a little bit of an what's it called, hypocrite, because where he's constantly trying to find someone worth fighting, he never actually wants to be beat per se. That also may change. I'm still trying to exactly figure out if he just wants to find someone worth beating, but not necessarily losing, or he really is chasing that loss. You know, the One Punch Man way of I want to be defeated kind of thing, or more like that fucking Baki shit from the first season. But yeah, that's the best way I can describe the scarecrows, is just showing this guy, because he's a very straightforward way of showing the scarecrows. Is that yeah, this guy wanted to crush people, so he learned how to crush people. Or his whole ability is crushing people. Also, he's tungsten because backstory is that he, well, actually, again, a way I can properly explain the actual power system in the story, because scarecrows, once put together, when multiple groups of people die and they have a similar ideology of from one another, those desires are so similar that they can combine. That's the main things that makes this energy system actually really interesting, is that merging nature of it. Negative constantly is being attracted towards negative, and if it comes in contact, will merge with itself. Same with positive. So when there's similar positive energies that come from your desires and your emotions, they will merge, creating stronger scarecrows. He being a really good example of that, because he was a part of this the core, because all these scarecrows had a core human that embodied these desires the most. And he was obviously from like a factory. Tungsten started becoming a better commodity, because over time things got bigger and stronger and bigger and stronger, that the only material that started to hold a lot of these heavy ass shit is tungsten. So there started to be bigger and more complicated tungsten factories and mining facilities were being created, and he being one of them. The biggest one of them all. And when the apocalypse happened and that shit happened like a fucking disaster movie and everyone died very quickly, he was the result of that. This is basically the embodiment of the what's called working class male. This guy is the embodiment of, you got soft hands. Oop, I didn't mean to do that. Now wait, that's how the scarecrows work. They take desires, they merge them if there's similar desires in one place when the separation happens, and they give back to life. They are ghosts in physical form. They what's it called? Also can constantly regenerate their form as long as the stem to their brain is still intact. As long as that's there, they can hold up, I'm gonna take a drink of something. It's this stupid ass thing again. All right. Also, I just realized my music hasn't been playing for God knows how long. I got so distracted and talking, I didn't even realize. Um. Okay, whatever. My bad. I should have put that on. I should have noticed that music stopped playing. um. What's it called? Okay, got a little distracted. I hate when this happens. Um. So yeah, so the fucking the scarecrows. Oh god, someone's coming in. Okay. So I got double distracted, so I don't have to come to my fucking house. I did not tell everyone to leave me alone until 4. And to say. Okay, I think I'm just gonna have to go back square fucking one somewhere so I can try to get shit going again. So yeah, scarecrows. When they die, their desires get merged together to create one big thing. Now I remember I'm trying to get the fucking forms. Yeah, so they can regenerate their body to perfect condition, as long as the stem of their brain is still connected. So, we're not connected. That back little part, that's the most important part of the brain that needs to get destroyed for it to fully happen. But for the most part, most scarecrows cease to not work very well when you destroy their brain. Overall, you don't have to do it you don't have to worry too much about how much of the brain is being destroyed, as long as it's generally fucked up. But certain scarecrows, no, you got to be pretty sure you destroy that part of the brain, or they will regenerate and come back. Especially very specific characters. This one, Scarecrow of Blood, has one of the most impressive regenerations in the entire story. And what's it called? Can regenerate from just that stem, as long as it's still intact. But has to be fuel to this regeneration. So let me actually start writing some of this down. They are basically a ghost. They're like ghosts, but with physical form. And physical form. And can regenerate their body. And as long as they have human blood. Your squishy boy blood. Looks like a crackhead. Look at that. As long as he has human boy blood. Well, yeah, I'll give him baby blood. So as long as he has this guy's blood. Yeah, this only just dude. Yeah. As long as they have human, or that's not blood, it's just matter. Consuming human matter pushes in all of that positive energy that's inside of it, and they consume it to maintain their form. Over time, if you starve a scarecrow, they go crazy. Oh, my back. Yeah, over time, you can starve out a scarecrow and they'll lose their fucking mind. and do anything to make sure they get something to eat. That becomes important because one of the two main characters of the story is a corpse crow, which is might be something I'm gonna figure out tomorrow next stream, which is figuring out what the fuck is a corpse crow. But today we just need to get these basic power systems down. We still have fucking like 2 hours left, so yeah, we're chilling right now. I'm so tired. Yeah, they need human thighs to stay alive. It's healthy for them to eat. Sure. What if I just do this instead? Good enough. And now they get the power space off of desires. That's nice with desires at all. Desires. Close enough. Now, that's the scarecrows. They are very important characters. These are your OP, like they're like your special grade curse spirits from JJK, your fucking Nomu from fucking I don't even know. Nomu people probably don't like these guys, but like I think the best way I could compare them to are kind of like the devils from Chainsaw Man, or like the special grade curse from Jujutsu Kaisen. I think they're closer to Jujutsu Kaisen. The corpses, on the other hand, work a little differently. What's it called? Also, nah, super big fan of the song. Yeah. I'm gonna skip that song. Alright. So yeah, corpses, on the other hand, their powers are based off of death, or basically how they die. Depending on how they die, gives them certain abilities. These things are more like your stereotypical zombies. Let's go fucking. I'll do it like Plants vs. Zombies. They're kind of like zombies, but way more fucked up because they can come in all sorts of sizes and forms. They don't need anything. They are literally immortal. They can. I'm Ryan Biller. Can not die. They cannot die at all. You can cut them down to whittle fingers, and that whittle finger will still be alive. Even if it's, yeah, my brain not running. Yeah, no matter how small you cut down a corpse, they will still be alive. Chop off their head, it'll still bite you. Chop off the little fingers, it's still gonna crawl at you like a little fucking caterpillar. No matter what you do, they are still alive. But, in the same vein, it can affect you. They only exist after you die. Not, or really just more specifically, not infectious. what's it called? So yeah, now we got shit right down. Yeah, corpses. Now, when the separation happens and the scarecrow gets shot out of the body, essentially it gets the positive gets pushed out. Also, as a side note, scarecrows can eat corpses for energy, but it's a little, like less than half effective than eating a person. Really, probably less than a fourth effective. You have to eat a whole lot more corpses compared to even just one human. And it's because the only amount of positive energy you can get from a corpse is some of the stuff still kind of left in the flesh. And it's very residual, not left though. Like, like, let's say you make like a bullshit bowl of ramen in the goddamn microwave, right? Let's say the seasoning packet that you're gonna throw in there, that's the energy. When you put it in the ramen and you eat the ramen, you get all of that energy. You get a mix of that solid shit and the what's it called? The solid noodle and the seasoning. You'd get both, but you really can taste the seasoning. You take in all of it. Eating a corpse would be like eating the fucking bowl. The only amount of seasoning you're gonna get is whatever it's kind of stuck onto the side, you know. So it's not nearly as effective. So they're more prone to going specifically towards people and don't even like eating corpses usually at all. They only do it when they're super desperate, or they only want like a quick little snack that's they don't have to fight anyone for, or if they just generally are around people sometimes. What's it called? Yeah. Now, out that side note, corpses, when they die, they're what's actually left. They're almost like the trash, the byproduct of this process that creates scarecrows. I'll tell you why they're called scarecrows in a minute. I didn't even realize I've yet to explain that part. But the corpses are the immortal leftover parts of the people. When the whole big shebang happened that killed everything, also, again, another side note, all of the animals in the world are also dead as fuck. And they did have the corpse effect at some point, but when the actual story starts, because so far this is still backstory, when the actual story starts, you're 1,000 years after the apocalypse. I think one of the coolest things is the change of time, and that's one of the things I want to focus on in the story is how the world will change as time goes on. There's a scary bug in my room. So after 1,000 years of this fucked up shit, there is nothing around besides people. You know what? No, actually, I must cut myself off there. Oh shit! I broke the camera. It's like in 2 seconds. I didn't even do anything this time. Yeah. Anyways, when a corpse is made after the whole fucking process that divides the two sides of the parts of the body, I guess sides of the body. God, I feel like I keep saying the same thing over and over again because I keep distracted by some stupid shit. So I was run through it real fucking quick. Body, immortal, cannot die. Whenever you die and a corpse gets put out of you, your body will always turn into a corpse. I mean, scarecrow comes out of you. Your body will always be turned into a corpse. It cannot die, no matter what. You can chop it down to any little pieces, it will always be fine. But in the same vein, it can also merge back into itself. If a corpse lost its arm, picked it up, but like say if it was sliced off, because if it was blown off, it's not the same, but it could maybe do it to such an extent. But if it's cut off, the corpse can actually put its arm back on because now the body is so negatively charged, it will merge back into itself. So if it puts the arm on its socket, the arm will grow into its body. Not because necessarily it regenerates, but because they're trying to merge with itself, kind of like you're welding. Um, oh, my headphones just died. Well, I'm gonna hope the music is good because I'm not gonna be able to hear it anymore. Uh, so just to make sure that this isn't gonna turn off, I'm gonna have it open. Yeah, sorry. Everything's distracting me. But the core thing that actually powers these fucking corpses, like the thing that gives them their abilities, is their death. More specifically, their method of death. If a corpse was killed by a blade, that means it could turn it'll be able to have a power that allows it to turn its body into a blade of some sort, or be able to pull blades out of its body. We'll probably know more of turning its body into a blade, because the main difference between corpses and the scarecrows in terms of how the power is expressed is scarecrows will manifest stuff. Again, like back to this goober, he manifests tungsten into reality. If he was a corpse though, his body would just what's it called? Push tongue like his body would have to grow like tungsten off of his body. Why he's a scarecrow, because the power wouldn't really work that well. And overall, he wouldn't be able to manifest. It has to be very biologically based, or at least be able to reach whatever caused your death by a biological means. Like if you were crushed, there's only really so much you can do in that situation. But this leads to certain very powerful scarecrows, or no, corpses, either very specific ones, because some get tortured to death. You can only imagine how fucked a scarecrow or a fucking corpse would be after being tortured to death, or starved to death, or one of the strongest scarecrows is the one that got burned to death, but it was going to be more of a deeper story behind it, more than burning, because here's the thing. You also have to have some kind of attachment to life that's very strong for really both of these, scarecrow or corpse. If your attachment to life is weak, it don't really matter what happens to you. You're only going to be so strong. So the powers they get is based off of their death. The powers they get is based off their desires. And the corpses, they can merge into each other. I forgot to continue elaborating on the corpse merging aspect of it. They can merge into big scary things. No, I think this is when we finally move on to the next stage of explaining these things, which is going to be the level, basically the ranking system. We're gonna start with the corpses because we're on that. Yeah. Oh no, I don't know what's up and what's down. Right. What's it called? So start with the corpses. They everything has a threat level. Either you can have a, let's write real quick, threat level. You can have a threat level between a max level of 10 and 1. A level 1 is weaker than the average person. Some corpses get more disempowered than empowered. Naturally, most corpses and scarecrows have a what's it called? Natural strength that they are kind of born and made with. And with these threat levels, they come in different classifications. I'm trying to remember because I did this before. I gotta think a little bit. Sorry, I had to kind of lock the fuck in for a second to think about it because I'm about to explain this. Now, there's two sides of where a corpse can end up going to in terms of its power level. Really hope that actually was like I kind of wanted to do, which is I'm actually going to erase that and then just make a move. Because I'm going to keep that threat level because it applies through corpses, scarecrows, crows, and even, and even people are all used on this threat level. So let's quickly just write this top line here, and then corpse, and again, top line here. Now, the reason I set it up like this is because depending on what it is, they can only be these certain threat levels. Because there's two ways a corpse can get stronger. Usually, as time goes on, corpses develop. They don't just stay a zombie forever. Some of them do, depending if they're like very isolated or if there's not a whole lot of activity in areas, especially for long periods of time. They do kind of just sit around and exist for no reason because when this process happens, bacteria, viruses, funny enough, aren't nearly as prevalent because there's not as much life to live off of. Now, that's not everywhere, but they're overall the meat on corpses tastes and feels sterilized after the process. Death now rips the flavor out of a lot of things. And has again the sterilizing taste, and it's because now that life that was there, that biological factor that broke things down, is no longer existing. There's not bacteria, viruses, fungus. A lot of these things that used to exist don't exist anymore because they don't have life to live off of. So instead, everything is just kind of petrifiedly alive, leading to these two sides of the coins. At the low level, you have your basic corpses. But on this side, you have, we're going to be called corpse beasts. And on the other side, we have corpse kings. Now, the reason it's set up like this, because on one side, what's it called? Is the corpse beast, which is when the biological mass starts merging with each other. When a whole body merges with another whole body, it gets turned into a corpse beast. Jesus. Just to make the separation work there. But on the other end, when a corpse by itself, this usually doesn't necessarily worry about how long. I probably will figure out some form of developmental factor. Well, I guess this is me actually trying to figure it out. What would be the best way to have a corpse by itself develop over time? I guess it doesn't. Overall, these things kind of just exist at the start. Like that death created a corpse king. I think over time, the negative energy that's inside of them could build up and become more potent. But overall, most of the energy is already there at the beginning. But the strongest of these things are called the corpse. Where is it? Corpse. Behemoth. And as well as the corpse lords. And yes, I know lords are technically lower ranking and social standings than kings. I'm gonna quickly move this on the side. Actually, no, I don't, because this actually technically really needs to be there. Now, what's it called? Corpses, your standard corpses that get just their basic, the abilities they get off death. When they're only between the threat level, those things only ever really go through the threat level of 1 and 2. Which usually means level 1 is ones that are even weaker than people sometimes. That, or the average person with enough combat experience, a tool, a utility. We're gonna get into the corpse parts soon, very soon. But when they have the power system that humans use in the story, a lot of people can kill a corpse at the first 2 levels. The second level is a little bit more dangerous, and it has a higher chance to be able to actually kill you. But there's always a good chance that you could probably still be a second level corpse. But once they go beyond those first 2 threat levels, that's when they have very prominent characteristics. Usually, if it's like a single corpse and they still have very strong abilities, they get classified as corpse kings. The lower ones, around the 3, 4, hell, even sometimes 5 range, are usually too difficult to worry about. But second you start hitting 5 and afterwards, that's when you get the shit that you really need a combat specialist focused motherfucker to really do some cool anime shit to kill the goddamn thing. Or again, you can't count the corpses, so mainly incapacitate. I'll either chop them down to small enough parts where they can't really do anything, or explode the shit out of them, or just reduce them as small parts as you can reduce them to, or burn the shit out until they don't really have usable parts. Because there's ways you can incapacitate something even if they are immortal in that way, because they can't heal. Corpses, the only thing separating corpses from the other shits is same thing with humans, is they cannot heal. Again, humans are a little bit more unique. We'll explain that in a bit. Sorry, it's stretch again. Shit. Alright. But when you get to like the 6 and 6, 7, like on the 6 and 7 mark of the power is when you get to very strongly prominent corpse kings. But they're still common enough where you can find maybe like where like the average person has probably seen a corpse king. And it's not too difficult to see one of the higher scale. Though when you get about 5 and onward is you get to very difficult things. You gotta get some cool guys to take out these motherfuckers. But when they are at such a high level where they are even threatening like an entire city or town or some form of a civilization, like just them by itself, that's when you get to corpse lords. There's not many of these guys, so they only that's why they are named differently, because if you hear there's a corpse king, it's like, ah shit, we gotta be careful. Here a corpse lord, it's all hell's about to break loose. Even our level 8 is very prominently destructive, but the level 9s, you need a lot of shit, and it's usually not even worth dealing with them. Hell, even the 8th, sometimes even 7, depending on how high up, like how close it is to 8 it is. But the ones that hit 10, those are fucked. Those corpses usually cannot be killed, and by any usual means. Even the really OP guys usually can't take them out, and requires some of the strongest characters. There's also 10 plus, which are reserved for only a couple characters get that far. And yeah, you could probably assume it basically means nothing can stop this. Like, we'd have to get something that strong to stop that. What will stop that? That. And yeah, those are the corpse king and lords. On the other spectrum are the beasts. Basically, same thing with the power. I already described that. But the corpse beasts are when the bodies start to merge, and then they turn into horrifying things of nightmares. Though, like, imagine the trash beast from Gacha Kuta, but made of body parts. Like, you know that one boss from, what's it called? Call of Duty World War II, that zombie mode, not the original, obviously the fucking, again, World War II. I had this big-ass fucking thing made of bodies. Basically, that's the average corpse beast. And they can come all sorts of different sizes and parts, and they utilize different abilities, and the factors of your death start to combine. And these things, though, are usually a lot of small corpses, so those powers aren't nearly as prominent. So for the most part, these are just dangerous things. Humans can't even really utilize them much more than food, because I've probably been alluding it, but humans, cannibalism is the only form of food in this world. So the only thing corpse beasts and behemoths, because I'm pretty sure you could probably already assume what that means, are only really useful for getting food. If you kill a big ass corpse beast, you get a whole lot of corpse meat. Yeah, a whole lot of corpse meat can feed a whole lot of people. Yeah, I fixed my camera. I don't even know what the fuck happened this time. Okay. Yeah, anyways. I already remember now. We're good. But yeah, corpse beasts have almost like a snowballing. As they get bigger faster. Like, it's easier for a corpse to just to keep gaining more and more and more mass as they go go around, because a lot of corpses kind of migrate, not necessarily because of actual reason why living things migrate. They just do it more as a wandering motion, and they don't need anything to stay alive. They just exist. Corpse beasts, they keep going and they keep going. They get bigger and they get bigger, more fucked up, until they reach critical sizes. And that's when they reach behemoths. But there's two types of behemoths. There's grown behemoths and natural behemoths. Grown behemoths are what I just said. It's that snowballing effect. But what's more fucked up are the natural behemoths. These are usually ones that are ancient. Because they're not even called natural. They're called the ancient ones. Or actually probably both. But essentially, behemoths have been around for a very long time. And usually, really basically, all of them have been around for a very long time. There's only a couple behemoths that are kind of small in comparison, and they only have a start level that high and called behemoths because of their body mass, instead of just snowballing up, kind of start to condensify. So there's some smaller behemoths, but even the small behemoths are still bigger than a fucking building. But some behemoths get truly colossal. A threat level 10 behemoth with, I think there's only either one, maybe three. Those are so big that they're like mountain-sized monsters slowly grazing across the land. There's only so many that are smaller than like hill size. Like, these things are truly behemoths. That's why they're called that, not giants or titans. They're truly behemoths. It's the only word that I think really sounds or describes how big these things are, especially the one that came from the one that came from Webtoon. That had 1 billion people inside of it. Yeah, when they did this scary fucked up shit, it all turned into one big scary monster and turned into the Wrath of Wasting or whatever the fuck, where it's the really big fucking monster. So yeah, that's the tiering system for the corpses. As for the scarecrows, it's a little different, but again, uses the same threat level system. Scarecrow. That is awfully uncentered. Alright, now the scarecrows also have three general tiers of power. And I think are generally just gonna mirror what the corpses have. But a little, well, about the same methods. Or really, no, they are different in this type of way. So, I think the main difference is the gap in power in terms of these type of things. Now, they have the same, where the top, like the strongest of the scarecrows, are generally only dispersed between these top 3 levels of power. God damn. Work, but bitch, work. Or like, not necessarily work, but like, don't look like shit. There. Now, I'm trying to think about the exact naming scheme I want to have for these scarecrows, because I think we have the fledglings. Fledglings. And I think I'm going to call them the fledglings and the minors. Really, basically, the fledgling scarecrow. And I don't call it like the minor and major scarecrow. Minor, major. Yeah, I think it works. I think I struggle to have good naming schemes. I kind of just keep going the greater or lesser. Yeah, minor and major kind of works. Minor scarecrow. The minor scarecrows, and then the major scarecrows. Again, same thing. Very low level scarecrows, like again, like the ones that you'd see from like a guy who just kind of like, oh no, I'm trying to get away, and then like a piece of a building falls off and he gets crushed. Like, he didn't really do much with his life. He played video games. Not that point. Just a little level 1 fledgling scarecrow can come out, and they're really not that strong. They kind of are mindless. They have very basic abilities. They can be still dangerous. I think generally there's very few level 1. Like, I think, you know, how about this? I have an idea. Sorry, my stomach's being a little uncooperative today. Sorry about that. But in terms of the overall volume, let's go like this. This one's way too. What is gonna make you? Yeah. In terms of the amounts of scarecrows, they mainly center like this in population density. Volume means more density. and they peak around here until they go here. So really, I could probably use the line tool to do this. Oh, that kind of looks. Right, and it starts to taper it out this way. That works fine. This is basically where the population is at. A lot of scarecrows mainly are within this tier of strength, so they're generally considered more dangerous, while compared to the what's it called? Corpses, their strength basically is like the amount of where they're at is kind of like this instead. Actually, no, it's a little bit more complicated. Could it be? Nah, I don't need it. I don't need. Well, nah. I actually think this is even more accurate to do it this way, anyways. So this is the populational difference between scarecrows and what's it called? Corpses. And look, it kind of almost lines up perfectly. Hold up. Like if I were to take what's it called? Or if I'm going to silent, I'm kind of just format this stuff a little better. Bruh. I was supposed to say scarecrows. Hold on. Alright, now I was gonna erase this top line. Alright, this probably works fine. I'm going to put you on. I'm putting the corpse names on the sides. And one thing that's been bugging me is I spelled that horrible. Or I didn't spell it, it just looks horrible. So yeah, this is the, I'd say, like the bit close to like a population comparison between the two. And also now I can combine this. Combine it down to that as well. So overall, the population comparison is the corpses generally have like a fuck ton of the very low, but like the closer you get to like the top, it really starts to taper down. There's only so many corpses that are within the fucking what's it called? What's it called? There's very few corpse behemoths and corpse lords, and like there's a decent amount of really strong corpse kings and strong corpse beasts, but it's like a lot rarer to see a really strong corpse king and a corpse beast compared to a really strong scarecrow, because they actually max out more in the middle, where really you actually are not going to see that many fledgling scarecrows on the lower level. If you see a scarecrow, they're more likely to be stronger, so they generally are seen to be stronger. But also, there's not nearly as many scarecrows around as there are corpses. Well, actually, no. Again, they're kind of similar because they all kind of come out from the same system. But it also means that there's a lot more of the really strong scarecrows compared to really strong corpses. And it also makes it where like the super strong scarecrow or corpses look almost uniquely powerful. Now I need to fucking stretch my back again. Ugh. When I was streaming that game, I was able to kind of, what's it called, lean back more. But now I kind of have to hunch over my fucking tablet a bit, so my back's been a little bit more cooperative to stream. But yeah, anyway, so that's more or less all you need to know about corpses and the scarecrows. So now y'all know this side of this coin and fucked up spectrum. The product of the fucked up system that this comic has. But what's the actual mechanisms? The humans and the scarecrows, or not the scarecrows, the crows. Now I'm finally gonna bring up why the fuck these things are even called scarecrows, and it's because inherently, humans they have pos- um, humans inherently have positive and negative, while crows usually have. Cause we're gonna circle both of them because that tells you that it's present and that's what they have. Crows, they do also contract and deal with positive and negative, but right now they are only negative for the most part. That's why it has that separation between the two, because they force it out. Corpses are, again, positive and negative as well in nature, but again, really only have negative. But scarecrows only have positive. There is no negative present in it at all. So, due to this dichotomy, I think that's the right word, what I'm trying to use, these two are constantly at each other. Versus these two are also fighting each other. And of course, they want that positive from them. So these two are also, what's it called? Fighting each other. Versus. Now, humans are also at war against, we're also against corpses as well. These two sides are working with each other. These two sides don't really care about each other. And yeah, that's about it in terms of the connections between sides. The crows are currently fighting the scarecrows. They are the main enemy against each other. But are also trying to finish killing off the humans. So they're also at war against them. Scarecrows, on the other hand, are against the crows by, again, the natural. They are positive beings, they are negative beings. They're trying to basically fight for dominance. It's really more than anything. While the humans, they get the short end of the whole ass stick, and they are trying to get eaten by the scarecrows. The crows are trying to kill them, and the corpses are always a big threat against them as well. The corpses, actually, funny enough, they actually probably have the best life out of anyone in the story, because they only are getting basically hunted down by humans to an extent. Scarecrows don't really care about them. Like, they are literally pointless beings to them for the most part. Like, sometimes they are annoying, but usually they just don't care. That, or they might. Right now in my head, though, they just don't really have much of a interaction with one another. Crows, on the other hand, command the what's it called? The corpses. They actually have a equal relationship, or a benefiting relationship compared between the two. So, I think I'm gonna actually keep the line. And then kind of do, like, really, yeah, they have no relationship. Well, fuck, I'll just get the line there. So we're gonna box it off to show the fact that they basically have nothing against each other. There's space. So yeah, scarecrows are called scarecrows because naturally the lower level of the crows stay away from them. I just realized that that's why I had this separate, because I also was gonna do the other ones. Whatever. Well, let's work on to the next ones. So, let's see. Shit. this thing again. Now then, for the crows, they, compared to the other ones, work very different. They get their own little page. Because the crows whatever. Yeah, fuck, I hate my goddamn spelling. The crows, they work by basically defying nature. But they have different. Really, I actually may not be able to necessarily put them in the same list because they kind of need to be in their own thing. I'm going to take the. Really can't. Shit. That's why I don't like combining things like this. Now, the crows work very differently because they have a central headmaster. He has a threat level of. He's the only one in the whole fucking lineage of crows that has a power level of 10 and has the Big Daddy Death. He's the first crow. He's the one that's been there since the dead of all the dinosaurs and all the fuck not. And he is the leader of all the crows, and the only one who's reached. Actually, no, there's one of two. There's Death, and this other guy. I'm gonna put plus. Second War. That's because, in terms of the individual threat level, the Second War was the only one to ever climb up higher. Here we are. Now, as for the other horsemen, because we also have. I'm actually going to have to separate them all. Because how of the differences. First War, as well as Famine. What the fuck is that in? Famine. Plus. Pestilence. That's in terms of their power level. Now, in terms of the different crow monsters, what's it called? They have a lot more different segments in terms of what they are, because technically, the crows are, in an odd way, kind of the weakest, but that's mainly just because of they get the population disparity. Yeah, because in terms of population, crows have the least. But these guys are very powerful. Yes, very much so. really, death kind of goes past power level 10 to an extent. Right now, this is just the best way I can kind of visualize the story. The second war can reach that 10th power level, but death was able to go beyond it. Again, only a couple characters go that far. Just to throw out some names, just so I can say it. The main characters, both of them too, reached past that level. A guy called the Straw Man, I think, either reaches it or goes past it, if very shallowly. And Death, and fuck, that's it. There's only 4 guys. Oh, my back. Oh. Ugh. But yeah, that does mean, what's it called? These horsemen can be, like, especially these two, because I'm doing threat level by individual, because that's one of the big differentiations between these guys in terms of them being dangerous than the other ones is their influence. Because this is one now I'm gonna have to quickly make a new tab. Guys, shut up again. Lean to that quick action hurt. Oh, fucking stupid ass thing wants to shit the bed every 3 seconds. June. Wait. 8 over seconds. Right. The crows start like this. Let's make sure this thing isn't playing. It's not paying attention. By the way, again, I have no idea what music's playing right now, so I'm just hoping that this has been a pretty good playlist, and it wasn't some stupid annoying song or loud or something. Oh, I wish I charged my headphones more. Whatever. Yeah, the crows. There is Death. Really, I kind of need to do it almost like spheres of influence, where it kind of looks like this. You know what? Actually, that's kind of cool idea. I'm actually going to do it like that. Alright, yeah, we're gonna need like a Vicodin bag. But one in the middle. One like this. So, let me get the tool. The actual shape tool to this second shit. Alright, I guess I'm going by hand again. Shoop. 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 So I'm trying to get all these corners actually touching each other, so it has to be at least halfway. Shoop. Let me just do a normal fucking Venn diagram. Mm. New tab. Try it again. So take this, paste it, and then we're just gonna. Okay. Let's off with this now. I think this might work for what I'm trying to do. I'm sorry, I was just really fucking thinking about what the fuck this thing should look like. No, I mean, when I said it's a little bit more complicated than some of the other ones. Okay, so I gotta think. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. Take another circle. Just gonna put it right in the middle. And that almost fucking worked. Alright, sure. So, the reason I made it like this, because it looks a little goofy, but it works for what I need, is, if I turn on the Venera, how does this look now? Damn. Yeah, but I wouldn't know what the fuck that would be for. Alright, now the reason it looks like this is because I'm gonna write the text over it. So, actually, fuck, I'll write somewhere. Because in the center of all of this is Death. He's the head horseman of all this shit. But within these is I just need a placeholder name for now. We're just gonna call them the Sentinels. These are more like your very humanoidly bird monster things. They are the spawn of Death. They are the more human and usually the strongest of the crows to do all this fucking shit. And the strongest of the Sentinels are within what's it called? The strongest of the Sentinels are the 3 horsemen. There's 4, but Death is going to be like is always the leader. The other horseman is of War, Famine, Pestilence, because they also have their own spawn, which I'm literally just going to call spawn, which all have their own threat level. Now, if I were to use this little threat level thing that I did for the last one, let me just quickly. There we are. Rich. And this is what I mean when I was trying to talk about the power level being a little different. Because each one of these have their own spawn. So if I think if I'm going to do the power level, I need to quickly just make basically a grid of power. Really bad. I just need to write it down and move it over to the end. So each one of the we're actually no. I kind of did it to make raids cheer really bad. I'm not gonna erase it. I hate using the tool like this. Start from fucking center. That's fine. That's some. And I'm gonna make one last ring, which is because. Oh, that's not gonna get. Alright. Another reason I did the last little circle is outside of these little spheres of influence, there's just going to be the watchers, which are still death spawn. They are literally just birds. Yeah, each one of these pillars, though, they have their own spawn. I think I'm gonna figure out what the fuck they are in a different stream, because right now I don't know if I quite understand what each one of these would have, because then I'd really have to go into what these are. But they have their own spawn that has their own levels of power. That's why this is gonna look like this. Quickly move some text around as far as we merge. But yeah, the central sphere of influence that death has over everything are the signals, the strongest of the ones, and they can turn into new horsemen of the apocalypse. That's why there is the second and first horseman of war. Second one was stronger. And each one of these horsemen have their own spawn. They have their own little monsters that do different things. Hence why I kind of was not talking about the crows nearly as much as the corpses, because I'm still trying to figure them out, and what they are. They'll be in a different but soon video, probably. Video stream, because I don't make videos that often. If ever. So yeah, that's the crows. The crows are still the one. I think probably the ones that need the most development in the story, and I need to figure out a lot of stuff for them still. I already have, especially like the main characters in mind already, but yeah. Now that I am kind of busy today, and where I didn't want to cut this stream short, I think I might have to. But there's still one last part I do want to try to get through. And that is... Let me just merge these. And that is the humans. So far, I've been talking about all the scary-ass monsters. I brought up the corpses. They come back after they're the dead bodies, and they're immortal. And then there's the scarecrows. They are fucking... What's it called? Bring it out. Working. Like ghosts. They're the desires of the humans being manifested after being separated from their bodies. But then there's the crows. The guys actually doing all this. But, fuck are the humans doing? Like... Again, we're at war with all three of these guys. They want to eat us. They generally are just dangerous and are going to kill us, and they want to kill us. Hell, we are dangerous to ourselves. I should probably put like versus against humans as well. Like, we are kind of fucked. So how are we still around and alive? Very, very, very fucked up ways. Very, 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 very fucked up methods. To the point that, honestly, now that I really think about it, I think I might do the humans next stream. Because, honestly, the humans, their power is utilizing these three different pillars of strength. And are... Sorry, my cat's yelling at me for some fucking reason. Humans are more complicated than any of these. What the fuck, cat? Ugh. You know what I mean when I said I probably have to cut this fucking stream short. Ugh. Fuck. Yeah, yeah, humans are going to be the most complicated than any of these. Even more complicated than the fucking corpses. The fucking scarecrow and the corpses. Damn, okay, I kind of need to reorganize my tabs a little bit better. Push this one up here because they're kind of supposed to be next to each other. They're more complicated than the corpse and scarecrows combined because they utilize everything, and they utilize everything in weird ways. Like, let me just give you the basic synopsis. Last thing, leave you on them. Really, honestly, the coolest part of the story is humans are alive because they are taking the body parts off of these things, the scarecrows, the crows, the corpses. They take off the body parts and basically graft it to themselves. Remember that regenerative nature that I've been keep talking about? That's where that mainly comes in. Because humans can put a dead body arm onto their little arm socket, and now they have that arm and can utilize the ability of that corpse or that scarecrow or that crow. They even do other things. They can turn these into weapons, armor, different... Fuck, they can turn them fucking vehicles. There's surgeons that are prioritizing getting this shit done. And there's And since there's only humans around, there's corpse cooks. They cook fucking shit and they give you powers for eating these things to an extent. And there's also a fuck ton of corpse drugs. Shit that you smoke, shit that you inject. Like, there's a lot the humans do. And that's why ultimately I'm actually going to wait till a different time. Or different next stream to talk about. Because they are the main focus of the story and have all sorts of ways that they go about doing this. But I think so far we made some good ass progress. I had to explain the story to a fucking extent. And there's not much that I can fucking do besides that. My cat is doing crazy crackhead shit and I don't even know what the fuck is wrong with her. Are you okay, cat? Fucking Christ. My fucking shit broke. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, as I was trying to say, we've made lots of progress. I really had to explain the story, the really backstory, how all this shit began and started, and then the newer backstory of how it turned into such a fucked up thing, and then explain what the actual differences between the scarecrows and the corpses and how they come about, and then their rankings and how they are generally distributed and what they classify as and are. And then we're figuring out the fucking crows still. There's still a lot of things I need to figure out there. As well as their general kind of more complicated ways of working. Oh, I even brought up the fucking, what's it called? Distribution. I should probably quickly do those here. Yeah. And the dichotomy between them all. Their relationships. So I think we covered a lot of ground in just 2.5 hours. Visually, it's not very impressive, but that's because I did a whole lot of talking and explaining. Next time, which is tomorrow, I'm still working on the schedule, as well as the roadmap that I was going to have made for this. Today is actually just kind of out my ass. But honestly, I think doing this is giving me a better idea of what I need to write down for the roadmap. So, but as of right now, that is all. We'll pick this up tomorrow, same time, and we'll go through how the fuck are humans surviving in this world. Day after that, though, I get to see my game, and that might be even more interesting. I'm excited. But that's all for this time. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, like it. If you didn't, dislike. Have something to say in the comments. And that's all. Goodbye. I want to get like a little smile, open mouth thing, but it's kind of